Hey students, this is lesson 7.5, this division properties of exponents. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to divide powers with the same base, and we're going to learn how to raise a quotient to a power. Go ahead and do the vocab here, review, and I'll check back with you. All right, one of the things we're going to learn how to do is how to divide powers when they have the same base. And here's the idea that if you're dividing powers with the same base, that you just subtract the exponents. And that kind of makes sense. Just think about this. So let's say we're dividing x to the fifth by x to the third. Well, expanded, that looks like this. And here's x divided by x is equal to 1. Here another x divided by x is equal to 1. And here another x divided by x equals 1. So what we end up with is 1 times 1 times 1 times x second, which is just x second. And we can get that just by subtracting 3 from 5. All right, so let's apply that here. So we just need to do, when we're dividing, 12 minus 9, and we get c to the third. Here we're going to do a to the 4 minus 6, and then b to the 8 minus 3. And that's going to give us a to the negative second, e to the fifth. And then to be simplified, we don't want a negative power, so we're going to write that as 1 over a to the second times b to the fifth. Of course, that's b to the fifth over 1, so we get b to the fifth over a to the second. All right, you try that. All right, we can use these properties when we're in scientific notation also. Here's the problem. Population of Pennsylvania is about 1.24 times 10 to the 7th. Population of North Dakota about 6.4 times 10 to the 5th. But how many times greater is the population of Pennsylvania than North Dakota? To get that answer, we're going to divide the population of Pennsylvania by the population of North Dakota. And when we do that, we can split up this division. We can just do 1.24 divided by 6.4, separate from 10 to the 7th divided by 10 to the 5th. And so I'm going to do 1.24 divided by 6.4. And that equals 0.19375. And now I'm going to use my division rule that says I need to subtract those. So times 10 to the 7 minus 5 power. And then I'm just going to change this to scientific notation since that's what we started with. So I'm going to move the decimal over one place to the right. So I just made that number bigger. So to make it equal to the same number, I'm going to have to make my exponent smaller by 1. Here, the exponent is 2, so now in scientific notation, I'm going to have 10 to the first. All right, you try that. All right, here's some other properties we're going to use to raise a quotient to power, raise the numerator and the denominator to the power. Here's why that makes sense. Let's say we have 2/3, and we do that to the third power. Well, that's the same as 2/3 times 2/3 times 2/3, which is really 2 times 2 times 2 in the numerator, or 2 to the third in the numerator, and 3 to the third in the denominator. So it makes sense that we raise both the numerator and the denominator to whatever power. Okay. And one other thing here, for all non-zero numbers a and b with positive integers n, a over b to the negative n is equal to b over a to the n. And let me show you why that would be true. So let's say we have 2/3 to the negative second. Well, if we remember from what we did earlier, that's the same as 2 to the negative second over 3 to the negative second. And remember, we can make these positive by switching the places in the fraction. So I get 3 to the positive second over 2 to the positive second. And so notice that the original fraction is flipped, and now my powers are positive. So go ahead and try that with 18 through 25. I'll check back with you. All right, so we're going to go ahead and use that property. Remember, this power has to go with both the numerator and denominator, so we're going to do w fifth to the third, and we're going to do 4 to the third. And then using the power to power property, we need to multiply those two, so we're going to get w 15th over, and we'll simplify 4 to the thirds. That's the same as 64. And we'll look for that answer, and that gives us answer A. All right, you try that. All right, simplifying an exponential expression. Now let's put it all together here. We're going to use the property that says both our numerator and our denominator have to go to the -4th power. And also, to get rid of that negative power, we can just flip the fraction and make it a positive power. And then we're going to raise the numerator to that power, and the denominator, the whole thing, to that power. And so I get d to the 2 times 4 is d to the 8 over. Now in here, I have to raise all the factors to the 4th power. So I have to do 3 to the 4th, and I have to do c to the 3rd to the 4th. And that gives me d to the 8th over 3 to the 4th. That is 81. And c to the 3rd to the 4th, 3 times 4 is 12. Go ahead, you try that. All right, we're up to the lesson check. Go ahead and do that, and we'll talk about it next time we meet in class.